everywhere. I hope your ship is well, that only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. In the heat digital high seas, we travel with ease, until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a fairy speed hill through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go, to beyond the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show. It's from WPRPN, you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Dock our vessels in the Skullport Harbor. No land lovers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a tricky kill haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome, everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to yet another weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 338. I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is the website we will direct your attention to. Sign up is free. Be sure as well to check out the show description end of things. We've got a lot of great handy dandy social media URL links that hopefully you find to be helpful and interesting. If you'd like to support us, of course, we have a Patreon presence. Digital love, always readily accepted and welcomed, encouraged, what have you. We got pirate swag up for grabs as well via galacticfire.com. Check that out. Some pretty high quality stuff. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com is our main email address. If you'd like to hit us up with some support on PayPal, half of everything that we do manage to generate goes directly back to charity. Hashtag WWRHD. What would Robin Hood do? So, also that email address, pirate1radio at protonmail.com, is really critical if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas you like to bounce off of us. So, liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription, notification buttons. Really, really appreciated as well, along with passing word along to friends, family, and coworkers. WPRPN.com, World Pirate Radio Podcast Network, the People's Pirate Network. It's folks like you with your support in all of its various forms. It helps to keep this show on the road. So, speaking of folks and friends like you, we've got a few of our longtime key mateys, people that have been central to the crew here for some time, reconnecting once again. So, a little bit of a round table introduction on the part of whoever cares to take hold of the talking stick first, I suppose. We got Sonia Galactic out of Phoenix, Arizona. Chris Do Better, someone who calls Atlanta, Georgia home. Texas, Mark, CEO of Drigas Productions, and Roger Hansen, West Frankfort, Illinois. Although Roger's mic, we're still not sure of how his levels are going to be functioning here. Go ahead, Roger.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little better. Yeah, keep doing whatever you're doing, and whether it's getting closer or playing around with your settings. Try it again.
Yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3.
You're almost, as you can see probably here with the screen share, you're almost getting up to the yellow zone, which is like a bare minimum. Mm-hmm.
That means you need to turn it up in your OBS. I can see it right there.
Well, this is
So
no. Everybody else is.
got it on like -6 dB.
Yeah, I can't just adjust it every time that you're on the mic, though, is the problem, right? So, just for your voice only, because everyone else is.
3.7.
Yeah. Do you have headphones? Is it a headset or just your on?
Yeah, it's a headset. No problem whatsoever.
And do you have
You're the only.
There you go. Do you have a boom, like a boom mic?
No, it's just one on my head. I got a mic. But the mic is actually just it sticks out. It's hard. It's plastic. It can't bend. So.
Oh, well, if you can turn the headset if it's
It won't.
well, no, yeah.
It up like that.
Get creative
Put it
and
down like that.
yeah, well, you don't want it further away from you, so do what you can. You've got a naturally soft voice though, too. I'm not sure if you've ever noticed that, but it's the way it comes across, naturally soft. So, bright guy, but full of information and insight, a very welcome asset, but just a soft
Masculinely soft.
pardon me?
Soft,
Masculinely
sexy,
soft.
sensuous voice that
Yeah.
women love.
Yes,
Yeah,
sensuous.
yeah, he'd be pretty popular behind bars, I think, with that softness.
Actually.
Been there, done that.
Wow.
Could easily transform him into something that those guys serving out the life sentences have long been dreaming of. But
in jail, the first rule.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell him he was going to talk the drunks down at the bar.
Well, that would be, I guess, that would be the starting point of it all, I suppose, and it all goes downhill from there. So, yeah, leading us to who knows where exactly. So, Sheriff George Ramsey, hope he's doing well. He was in the hospital, and I'm not sure what really we can do for the guy than hope, pray, send positive energy his way, and whatever health difficulties that he's struggling with at present, that he's able to stabilize his situation and overcome those difficulties. So, Angel Espino, another person actually here who has been waylaid with some pretty serious thyroid issues, thyroid cancer, actually. So if anyone has any ideas, any hot takes as far as what might be able to rectify or better remedy that unfortunate situation, state of affairs, do let us know. But yeah, positive energy, prayers, whatever we're able to draw upon here, and just sending them out, through the universe, obviously. That's really what, one of the reasons why we continue to do this each and every week. Although we're going to be up against another, it's an epic 10-day campaign, marathon, Christmas consciousness raising campaign that I think this is our 11th year, kicking off December 11th. So start brainstorming, folks. Be sure to bring what you can to the table, getting the word out there, and asking yourself, how can I, just in my own small little way, be of some benefit to others? So, throughout the Christmas season. And what we do, of course, is we dedicate ourselves to 10 consecutive nights or days, depending on where you find yourself located around the world, in doing this very thing. Operation Secret Santa 2025. So, yes, indeed. Now, Sonia Galactic, galacticfire.com. Why don't we let you unpack things for anyone out there who may be a new listener, maybe round the horn to whoever cares to, do the same, and so on and so forth. How's Galactic Fire?
I think Mark should go first right now.
Oh, okay.
Mark should go first right now, yes.
All right. How about it, Mark?
Fell asleep.
Speaking of health issues, yeah, he's got some sinus issues that he's been talking about.
Yeah, it's allergy time of year for me, and yeah, it's like right behind my eyes. The light, I'm probably going to turn the light off on the computer on the right hand side here pretty soon, because that's kind of like it's not helping. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to jump in because I haven't jumped in a while, and I did take a look over the talking points, and it looks like you got some really cool talking points going on. Yeah. So, yeah, 3i Atlas, so always, an interesting topic, point. And, P. Diddy, really, who cares if he gets shanked? He put himself into that position. So, I don't feel for a guy like that. Yeah, I got lots of stuff coming up tomorrow. It's been a pretty nice day today, though, up until just a little bit ago when the pressure changed outside, and yeah. So yeah, 3i.
Did we complete?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I got Censorship Sucks tomorrow. Bullhorn Barry will be in there with him, and we got who else we got in there? Jack Carey. He's going to talk about. He's been talking a lot about cryptocurrency along with cryptozoology, and how cryptocurrency ties in with a lot of the paranormal stuff that's happening now in the markets. Along with then we have Nancy Planetta tomorrow night, and it'll be a really good show from there, because who knows what Nancy will pull out of her pocket. She's got a lot of resources. And
not sure why we
yeah, you've been the big discussion for her show.
Sorry, we lost you. We lost you on this end.
Hard on it.
Go ahead.
So It's like she's the one that's really been hitting hard on it. She's coming up with good stuff. I haven't actually used research.
And fade. Yeah. Oh, hitting hard, Nancy Planeta. Is that right? Hitting hard on what? Crypto 3.
No, she's been talking a lot about consciousness and well, the 3-eye atlas and you know, Project Bluebeam is like her big thing that she's been going over for months now. So yeah, and it's all tying into what Roger's been talking about as well. And she's been bringing him to do a lot of the good stuff on her show. Yep.
Oh, Roger's been dropping into her show, has he, as a co-host, guest?
No, no co-host. I got in time for people.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're roboting.
Yeah, you're really fizzling out there, man. So I'm not sure what kind of headset you got or mic, but if it's like a, yeesh. So maybe, yeah, maybe we all should chip in.
Yeah, I think what he needs to do is just go into his control panel, look up sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And push it all the way to the top. And once he does that, because I'm pretty sure that he, like a lot of other folks this week, got an update and it messed that sound up. So it happened to me, but I know what to look for every time. So check that out, Roger. See if that helps you.
Windows update or what exactly?
Yeah, Windows had an update not too long ago, and then anytime it does an update, and it messes the sound controls up. So go in there, you go into control panel, sound, and then from where your sound is, you'll go into recording.
Oh, okay.
And then push the recording all the way up.
All right.
That's your microphone.
Well, we don't want to be messing around. This is the sort of thing that people should have resolved before going live. Clearly, we can take care of technical matters.
It's only on your show, Jeffy. That's it. That's it. You're the only one that I have issues with on this. So if it's a problem, it's on your show. That's it.
Okay. Well, you're doing better.
It never used to be that way.
It always is that way. It's like all of a sudden you got audio issues on Jaffe's show, but everything else seems to work good. Even mine that I used to stream 7 days a week almost.
Just the levels.
No problem.
Just your
You
levels.
sound a lot better right now.
Yeah, this is now he's getting a little hot under the collar. This is
It gets annoying.
Well, no, this is what we need. We need you to get a little more passionate.
He was look. You just ruined his high, man. He was baked. He was chilling. He was all relaxed.
Who, me or Roger?
Now you got him all riled up.
I don't smoke.
Yeah. So it's kind of like with Robert Morningstar is like something similar where with the echo delay kind of feedback loop that you can hear, anyone can hear, and if they don't believe me, then you go to the playback. There's Angel, by the way, in the slideshow we're seeing, and he's not doing so well, as in the hospital bed there. So
I'm actually just talking low because I'm concentrating a lot on this blender. I've been working on this damn frog for like 3-4 months, and I can't get the color right on it.
You see with your speaking of colors, that your levels here, most of us are in the yellow. We're up in the yellow and touched on the red. You're constantly just kind of laying back in the green, and this is the loudest that you've been so far, which is good, but still needs to get a little boost a little more. So that's
Passion.
There we go. Yeah, strong signal from Sonia. So, but it's acceptable, as the wife and I often often talk as far as our relationships. The two of us, like, well, I get it's not ideal, but it's acceptable.
I know a good sound guy that might be able to help you set up something to where you can
Yeah,
control individual
yeah.
levels behind the scenes
There, yeah.
on your end,
Oh,
Jaffe.
well, that's like having to babysit people too. It's like, really. I mean, yeah,
No, you could just like check the levels before stream and then have it set to the
uh-huh.
stream.
All right. Food for thought, and we will, if need be, take care of that like later. Obviously.
Sorry to interrupt the show.
No,
Oh, you did
that's fine.
great. You did great. Somebody needs to say
No,
it.
you are part of the show, Chris. You're part of the show
Oh, that's
for
good.
sure.
That's good, Chris. In
That's
fact,
that's what the new show is all about.
we
You
need
know,
to hear more from you. So Sonia, have you covered your introductory remarks? Everyone knows where to find you,
I
galacticfire.com.
did not. Well, you kind of did for me. Galacticfire.com for awesome T-shirts and ever-growing collection. So there's that. Really cool, kind of off-the-wall T-shirts, a little bit different, kind of against the system type of stuff. So yeah.
But
And galacticfire.com.
it's the
Yeah.
best of all possible worlds. How could anyone ever think that? Why would you want to buck the system? As my dad often put it, buck the system.
The system's corrupt is why.
Look,
It's kind of evident to everybody
look at the
nowadays.
ostriches. Just one place. Look no further than the ostriches
Amen
in
to that.
Canada. Getting mulched.
Beyond corrupt.
Canada's ostriches getting mulched under the cover of the dead of night. They brought in these mulchers and just throwing them in, and these giant blenders. And they're working for, these are global interests that they're working for up in Edgewood, British Columbia. These, and they're basically pets. They got nothing to do with agriculture or meat as a food source, like a food inspection agency. Eggs are the only thing, and they're not to be eaten. They're to be used as medical miracle cures, essentially. I hope they're not the only ostriches in the world that have these miracle eggs, because like they immediately, what happened when they got the scientific results, so the story goes, they got the analysis of what the eggs had, the properties and what they had to offer in fighting COVID and corona type viruses. They were bought out by big pharma. And then on top of that, big surprise, that one. Speaking of the level of corruption, and then there was a non-disclosure agreement that they had to sign off on. That was part of the deal. So
those are weak as fuck. So they better have gotten some more like proprietary or trade secret something going on.
So I mean, it's just people, connect the dots. Once again, the buck. How dare you? Yeah. Buck the corrupt system, or question this best of all possible worlds. So yeah, it could. So maybe that's one of the things I'm thinking. Hopefully, fingers crossed, unless it turns out to be a total Independence Day massacre. Which, I mean, if that's what they choose to do, I guess that's the deal. But because we're kind of on the so the story goes, on the fence, as it were, as far as a civilization goes. I was just listening to a show last night. There's 20% of us, or 20% of our, you could say, maybe, the way that people with their egos out of control, and the shadow that issues that are go unresolved, that
the shadow self.
It's not really, yes, exactly, Jungian shadow, that's not ready, or for the galactic, the space, confederacy and brotherhood. Like there's a large part of us that is the school of life, and where we are right now on the edge of disclosure. And it's coming down fast too. It's like,
the thing, we're not on the edge of disclosure, sir. We're full blown in the middle of disclosure, and it's multifaceted. It's not just like alien disclosure. It's like you're getting the full flown, like, government is being exposed. You know,
Hence the
the
That
corruption,
that's
the
that's
medical
yeah,
industry
yeah.
corruption,
That's a good.
the
Mhm.
the insurance industry corruption. It's just it's a multifaceted shitstorm that is coming together.
The age of apocalypse. That's right. The great
Hmm.
revealing,
Hmm.
the great unveiling, and hey, even Jaffe here is unveiled and revealed himself for the whole
Finally.
world. Well, but
Against the
that's
law.
what's that, Roger?
That's against the law.
No, it's as
In some
oh
places,
well, it may be.
depends on where you
Well, yeah,
are.
I mean, anything. That's the thing is, we live in such an absurd world. Anything could be against the law, including like look up the most absurd laws in the world, and you'll see like just
Uh,
there was. I'm not the one thing that really comes to mind for me is chocolate was for the longest time. Well, not it was for a number of years. I think it was either Portugal or Spain with the exploration of the New World that the king is like, oh no, we can't. This is like too, um, this is it's impropriety. It fuels sexual deviancy. But meanwhile, the king is gorging himself on chocolate. In his own,
Hmm.
he's having
Hmm.
all the
Hmm.
chocolate he wants, but nobody else can. So, but it's a
Hmm.
law, and everything any dictatorship does, it's always legal, right?
I went to a
It's the
church
law. Doesn't mean it's
last
perfect.
week, and the sermon that the preacher was talking about was like basically, the the I can't remember what exact story he was telling, but he was telling a story of some Bible person, and they went through all these uh, trials and
Job,
tribulations, and
Job.
no, anyway, let me just tell the thing.
All right.
So he,
Trials and tribulations.
so he's telling the story, and he's equating basically like that person listening not to the master or the government of the time, and but to honor God, and that even though this uh, leader, oh yeah, it was King David, and how he was the king, but he was an unrighteous guy, and he was doing all these wicked things, but he was the king, so you had to respect the king, but at the same time, you're more honoring God, so you don't have to worry about what this king's doing because God's doing the right thing ultimately. And it's just this
Reminds me of a Megadeth song.
big mind fuck that is just like perpetuates the lie and the illusion that we're supposed to respect this corrupt ass bullshit system.
Blind obedience, basically, is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Is that right?
exactly.
Wow, that's one reason I don't go to church too often, I guess. That's right.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the distinction between the old and the new. The Old Testament,
Hmm.
the new. The old covenant, the new. Robert Morningstar and I were just having sort of, just we're hashing this over just yesterday, as a matter of fact. He might be joining us here in the second hour, so don't know if we'll get into it again. But yeah, do you really think is the God like no. Are you aware like the God of the New Testament is not the same as the one of the Old? Right? It's just you
Well,
notice that
the thing
you pick
is
up on
that
that?
so God isn't able to come down here and like show himself, right?
Well, unless he's God as three eye with his three eyes.
But you know what I'm saying? In these stories,
Who made who?
uh,
Who made you?
right? Exactly. So it's all a figment of our imagination,
Well,
and
that's
whoever
true.
is, and there's certain things, of course, that have a heavenly divine intervention, but it's not like the gospel, and it's ever changing. We're evolving as a species, so the rules and everything changes as we evolve.
I guess, yeah. There's some things that don't change, and there's some things that do. So, all right.
Yeah, of
Thank you
course.
for that. And so yeah, in case people are wondering, we're hearing now from Chris out of Atlanta. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, Chris, where people can find you.
At themines.com currently, and I'm working on possibly venturing out to different platforms, starting to do some video content and live streaming, but who knows. Actually, so I posted a link in the green room, and it's about a concept that I've been trying to do on minds.com, was stream parts of the platform. They used to have a news feed boost post that would rotate, and we had that live stream, so it would constantly update a new post that was a boosted post. And we called it the Minds Boosted feed, and or Minds Boost live stream, something like that. And I was trying to get it going again, but I've got so much going on in my personal life and trying to do other things that it's like it's really a community type of a thing anyway. So it's not really my thing. It's for whoever wants to get involved. So if you think you're, you know, interested and want to get involved in getting a live stream that would be focused on the Minds platform, like for advertising the Minds platform and the people of the Minds platform. So it would be a two deal thing. People would be able to, show their content and maybe do like a live stream like we're doing here, have a conversation during the live stream, however they want to participate in the live stream, and then possibly generate revenue down the road, but that's like for further talks.
Couple
But
quick,
anyway, yeah.
thank you. Couple quick questions just for clarity's sake, so you can flesh this out a little more. Uh, we've yet to introduce. We get Roger and Mark, I guess, but we'll get back around to them here. Hopefully before too long. The Ottmans, have you been in touch with them? And secondly, are you aware of the work that Roger and like Mark and various
Oh yeah,
affiliated colleagues?
he does tons of stuff with us, or whenever he's got the time.
Chris has
Yeah,
been doing that.
yeah, he's always been active with us.
I didn't know that. So how did you first come to know about him or
Minds, he was
introduce?
streaming on minds.com.
Well, that was so you actually knew each other before you came into
Yeah,
contact
here.
through our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Now,
right.
see, we've got a huge
We've been
one.
around.
Yeah, we got followings of just actual minds people who's been on there since the beginning.
You want
So
to hear a few names? We drop a few names people
you
will be
got
familiar with.
Bob Dub, you got
Bob Dub.
Do Better, you got Minds Gaming,
Lady
Mark
Red.
Edworthy.
So
Well, Lady Red doesn't really communicate
did
too
they
much,
drop
but
in and
I
does
mean, I
Mike
think she did drop in one time.
Minds Gaming
yeah,
Mike he connects with you and
yeah,
now,
we've
but
been.
how routine is this? Because I never see. I'm asking about like schedule times, and it's just like I'm lost over here, floundering like in the east, via South Korea.
It's
eh,
you're like me. You got so much going on. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Well, we have right routine work schedule too. But do you have a routine, a regular time? Like you used to do this Minds Roundtable on a more regular basis. Then I thought it got sidelined and kind of it just wasn't as much of a priority as it had been for some when
Well,
it first started out.
we only do
Come here,
3
Danny.
months of Minds Roundtable, so it's not a all year round thing because we got more um we got more projects that we do within the month. Got a untethered and stuff like that we're doing, and tech talk, and doing
Fantastical.
fantastical.
So,
Fantastic.
to answer your question about the mines getting the Ottomans involved. So, currently, if you look at the post that I put the link there, it's putting out a call. Hey, who's interested? And I was wanting to, put it together, but like I said, I got so much going on. I'm been working on multiple fences, like sections of fences, and like building them. And then I've been working on my house, getting it ready to be sold. It got sold. Now I'm doing the fence on that same house.
Good
Then
stuff.
been working on cars in between. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just and being injured, got like a pinched nerve. So it's just like I got enough headache going on. So if somebody else wants to take the reins of that project and make it happen, I think it would be a great idea, and it would promote everybody on the platform, not only themselves individually, but the platform as a whole.
Yeah, that's the way like we've envisioned things right from the start, not only regarding mines, and I think we're in some respect we're on the same page as the Ottomans were with the way that they launched the that that the project, but WPRPN.com, which essentially took off. It was I think it was the winter. It was right Christmas of 2015 or 16, 15 or 16.
15, yeah,
You,
yeah.
you, you're clear on this than I am. I have no idea. Like maybe you are.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely 2015.
wow. So and this is going to be our 11th year with Operation Secret Santa.
Wow.
10-day endeavor basically, and we're going to try to commit ourselves to being there for the world essentially, and keep in mind this is something that any live streamer can do. People like Roger, who last year I remember really
Hmm.
did help out in a big way, so tip of the pirate hat to him, definitely.
Well, I would love to actually see it be not only just a live stream, but it's like a community liaison between the developers and the community, so that everybody's voice gets heard, because the developers have their own language and the community has their own language. So maybe if we can, bridge the gap on the communication,
Are you
it,
talking
it,
about like
it'll.
promoting or at least opening, welcoming and inviting just various minds, personalities on board for further
Okay, so
dialogue?
yeah. So first of all, it's like the idea. I had the idea. I put together an actual thing. I live streamed it for months, maybe even over a year. Me and Bob Dub, and we got a bunch of musicians from the Minds platform and different people involved, and then it just kind of fizzled out. But I think that, like was trying to say earlier, it's this time I'm trying to get the Minds team involved, the Ottomans, and to do that, we need to present them a plan to like have all the you know pitfalls or whatever ironed out, so that it can be presented all professional to them, and so they can take the idea and decide what they want to do with it.
Yeah, they haven't, from our perspective and standpoint, not too overly engaging or supportive of much of what we've done here, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, that's
Which is
what I'm trying to get
uh-huh.
this part. I'm trying to get this to be that more engagement, with the community and the Minds team.
Yeah, I don't
So
even know what m- uh what they do. Basically, they keep a low profile. Bill, he was actually on the Joe Rogan Experience, I think twice, as a matter of fact, if memory serves, and he's been here and there, but just I don't know. It's if he's what is there anything that he's missing out on, like his as far as community outreach? I guess maybe not in the best way.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
just
so
struck
they
with
were
criticism.
on the train, like they were trying to do their promotion of the platform the way that they thought was the way. And we see the results. But I think that there's enough of a following on the platform and that it could actually, if focus was put on the platform
Yeah.
and the people of the platform
Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to make the platform the circus like all the other platforms,
Mm-hmm.
then and this live stream could be that spark that ignites a bigger community of engagement.
Which live stream? The one you're talking about?
Yeah, the one I'm talking about
Yeah.
creating and
Well,
putting, getting the
Well,
right
the
people
flyers.
together to
So
to to
that's pretty
iron
good.
out all the ideas to present it.
well, look,
Sorry to
no, it's a one
interrupt
thing.
Sonia.
No, well, one thing.
Sure, sure.
Just briefly, Sonia here. One thing we can contribute most definitely is we have a list of a lot of the legacy groups from mines, and there's no
Mhm.
reason that with whoever is like running this show, and ideally it would be more than just one person, or that they could feature one or one or two, or maybe however whatever they're comfortable with, number of groups each and every week. Say, oh, by the way, here we have this group here, science and technology, which last time I looked, like there's thousands of members. There's an InfoWars group, thousands of members. Joe Rogan Experience,
Well,
thousands of members.
I
And
would
just
hope that it would be
need more
the way
engagement.
that I would like it. I would like it to be a 24/7 live stream, and people would volunteer to fill the slot.
That's what we're looking. That's what
And
we've been talking about with Operation Secret Santa. 10 days, and it's you just pass it,
right,
pay it forward, kind of pass it on down the line for 10
and
days.
then you could have your regulars that are like you'll always see these people at this time, like maybe once every day, one day a week or however they want it,
Uh huh.
however they feel like doing it. And then you'll have other people that are like one timers, or maybe that's just like, hey, we're presenting this video that's already been recorded and it's during the live stream, but it's somebody from the Minds
Yeah.
platform, their
Well,
content.
we can contribute something as far as the show goes. Like the content, but to
Hmm.
being, and Daniel Satori D, he was the guy
Yeah.
really, I think, who was most responsible for a lot. And I think you were we haven't been in touch with him for a while. I'm sure what it is. He doesn't really seem interested in talking to us for,
Well, I
I
mean,
have no idea.
the way that the platform owners, uh, it's almost like they spit on all of the Minds creators. No offense to them, because I'm sure that they were told that
Oh,
they think they
I'll
were
offend
doing the
them.
right thing. Okay, listen, I get the want to be angry, and it's not going to do nothing
Who-
but make more anger.
Who's angry?
So
Me.
the
Oh, Roger.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
always,
A
dude. I mean,
lot of people are. A lot of people are, and it's totally understandable
Because,
because a lot of people feel
yeah,
like they were let down
I
and,
see.
neglected and just like we're gonna go, chase these bigwigs and you guys ain't worth our time. So,
Right.
and that's the way it was. But we want this platform to survive.
Well,
At least I know I do.
Bill needs to be there.
And
He needs to step up and show
yeah,
better
well,
leadership.
he's posting there. He's posting,
He's posting, that's great, but he needs to be. He
but
should get on the
he won't
mic somewhere.
respond. He don't respond to nobody.
He's
I
afraid to respond. A lot of people give him a lot of negative feedback, and now him and his brother have refused to respond to anybody. They've actually started blocking people because they don't want to get any messages from them.
There
So
is a lot of hate, unfortunately, and that's
Mm.
that's the way some people are with their egos unleashed and just completely out of
It's
control. So, but there's some look
it's a
constructive
warranted.
criticism.
All I'm going
Yeah,
to say is
okay.
this. All I'm going to say is this. I've had John and Bill and a bunch of them on over the years. All right. They're great interviews. But thank God censorship sucks doesn't make it sound like a damn infomercial, because the stations out there were going to start charging me to make it sound, oh, you're not having an interview, you're having an infomercial about a platform that you want. And
Hmm.
I don't want to, I ain't going to pay that. Infomercials cost that's big money. All right, when you send it to networks and stations. So,
Hmm.
but I'm thank God I got them broke of that.
yeah, and another thing about uh, him is like Tim Pool. Okay, he turned around, had Tim Pool doing fundraisers, GoFundMe stuff with him. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
Now the thing about it is like whenever it comes to Tim Pool, he doesn't even have an account on minds.com,
Yeah, he
dude.
does.
No, he
He,
doesn't. When's he
he
ever
used
stream?
to. If
When does he post?
He's got an account there. Yeah, he does.
I can check right now. I guarantee you. Last
Oh,
time
come
we went
on.
on
People
there,
like that have other people posting for them.
yeah,
It's not their
exactly.
own personal account.
There's
But
that.
he used
There's
to
that, but
have
he
a
still has an
temple.
account.
I mean,
Actually, he doesn't have an account anymore. I guess he deleted it.
mhm.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
That would be just in the last couple months, then. No more
That
than the
was
last few months.
it's well over a year and a half, 2 years now.
Nah,
Yeah,
no.
we found out because me and Mark and Tan were streaming, and Tan's the one who brought it up, and it was a good year ago at least
No,
that he found
okay.
out.
Well, I'll go do a search. We're gonna get. By the
Well, I
way,
mean,
we're getting taken down here. We only got a few minutes, and we're gonna have to cut away to commercial break. Speaking of infomercials, so as if we're raking in money hand over fist. That's not the deal here, folks. In fact, we're struggling like you wouldn't believe. Is just managing to keep this on air and to pay the bills. In the real world, as it were, with real life jobs. And on top of that, we remain very much committed to half of everything that we do generate going directly back to charity. Because I mean, just speaking of Tim Pool, is that something that he embraces? Alex Jones, similar, Joe Rogan? I mean, or
Of
or
course
or
not.
or not? And well, and if not, then why? Why isn't more being done on that front? It should just be by default. It doesn't have to be mandatory, as it were, of course, but at least an option, and to encourage, and maybe you get a tax write-off or what have you. uh, Look at Bill Gates, the level that he's at with his philanthropy. For make of it what you will, but uh, I think, and people do give him more credit than what he deserves, frankly, because it seems he has ulterior motives when it comes to that sort of thing, unfortunately. But with us, there's no strings attached, other than we want to properly vet the people who we determine are, really really deserve a bit of a hand up, as it were, including maybe seeing if they can find work in their area, or receive food, clothing, medical type items that they're lacking, and anything. Just to encourage people to think outside the box, kind of an ad hoc approach, whatever it takes to resolve the situation. So, but yeah, this Minds business, minds.com, it still has great potential, but it's ironic because Bill and John were our first guests, believe it or not. I wasn't the chief communications officer at the time. We had AWOL Aaron holding things down in that regard and capacity, short period of time, and then he abandons ship, and I'm left to endure this long dark night of the soul, just to to keep things.
It's a
It
jump
was
ship.
it was brutal. It's like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I even here? What's the point of this? And, I still go through it sometimes even now, but not to the extent that it kind of impacted me back then. Really, a large part of this is just it's kind of like with you, Chris, being out there on the East Coast, it's spiritual journey, really, and working to better, to growth and to find ourselves and to find our voices too. Because I'm largely an introverted person. I mean, if it takes 10 years for you just to go on camera, clearly it's not. There's it's like it's not. You're not
Right.
exactly champion, or I think it's a champion at the bit. It's like, hey, everybody. And that's the one thing that always irritated me, the way that people really yuck it up, or the hot dogging for the camera, something that I don't know. Now it's just insane with AI, of course. It's right over the top, whatever that people can do for clicks and views. But anyways, it is what it is. Sonia, look, we're going to get knocked offline here because of the way Teams operates, of course. But what do we see happening out there? I haven't even had a chance to look at the comment end of things. And along with, of course, we have a Halloween show, ideally coming up here shortly, this
Ideal.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on my phone right now because I'm
Mm.
out doing a backyard burn, so I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to look at
Oh, that's a
anything.
live
So
fire, is it?
yeah.
You're doing like a witchy little thing here,
Yeah.
We got Gully Rat saying he
No, I'm just gonna
go.
clean up the backyard, really.
Oh, it looks.
Before I take
Oh,
off.
it's great. It's a real live backyard
Yeah.
stream there via
Piece of a
Phoenix,
tree. Right there.
Arizona. Talk about, I just love this global technology. Gully Rat, he gained his bones as a trained brakeman in the Philippines during World War II. Who's he talking about? Most of my ancestors gained North America after Civil War, but well read, which I speak. Let's see. Good old Gully Rat. It's been a while. A Confederate Brotherhood of Northern sympathizers during American Civil War. My take. I think we're going on about Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth likely escaped as a Knight of the Golden Circle, KGC operative. Yeah, we've heard about that in the past, haven't we? Something Roger probably knows a thing or two about, at least he's heard of. He was later spilling too many beans. Brethren asked him to take a sip of poison lemonade. Yeah, Knights of the Golden Circle, that's right. So they were quite something. And there's that hidden, that mysterious Confederate treasure that I guess is just completely. Brad Metzger, I think, has covered it with mysteries and just unsolved mysteries of America's unsolved mysteries or what have you. But it's quite.
Have you heard of Kurt Metzger?
What's he all about? What's the deal there?
Metzger? He's a comedian actually, but he's got some really interesting shows going on.
Oh, Kurt, hell
Very, very
yeah!
cool.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Kurt and Tim Dillon. Yeah, although Kurt had Eric, was it Decker? No, Hecker on, and I couldn't believe it. Like
Sure.
our experience we had Hecker on the show. The guy he's a
I
lunatic.
know.
He's a lunatic. Do you know the deal with, like, he's just total sociopath. The guy, like, behind the scenes, he just like cuckoo. And we had a recording of him just totally, I think we might have lost it though, because we had our computer got messed around with and everything had to be
I think the term
reformatted.
is loose.
What happened? Sorry, term is what? Uh-oh. Well, term is time to cut away for a commercial break. How about that, folks? So there we go. And there is currently what you're looking at via the slideshow is some of our finest pirate WPRPN World Pirate Radio Podcast Network merchandise. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, and the like. Half of everything that we generate as far as the profit end of things, which isn't much, usually just a couple bucks, goes directly back to charity, largely in the form of what we're, the season that we're rapidly approaching here. Once again, Operation Secret Santa, 10-day telethon, Christmas consciousness raising. There is a war on Christmas. I'm sure many of us we've all heard. So we're just doing what we can in our way to, I don't know if you say lead the charge necessarily, but it's a unique campaign. I guarantee you will find no other campaign like it via the interwebs or elsewhere. And really, it's not just the internet. It's encouraging you to go out into the real world, become engaged in your community, get back to us with stories of Christmas miracles and the way that, either you or someone else is able to make a difference in somebody else's life at this particular time of year. It can be quite stressful for many folks, and to the point, I think, where it's talked about being one of, if not the highest rate of not only depression, but even taking things to the point of suicide each and every year. Some pretty awful stuff. But and if you'd like to remain anonymous, that's hence the secret. We've got that worked into the campaign, the slogan, and then the spirit, the theme, the way that we have things set up in place here, obviously. So, but let's get to the commercial break, and then back to the gang, hopefully, who have all dropped out of the room. Ideally, they've checked out, because the way Teams operates here, you got 1 hour only. It's kind of nice in the sense that we don't have to mess around or linger and languish too long. Gotta love that alliteration. Linger and languish too long. David Bowie trying to be a pirate? What's up with that? So, rip to Ace Frehley. He was just quite a character. It seemed like this really beautiful guy, really fun-loving. Definitely the most the best comedic sense, and I mean, love, light, and laughter. He had just a personality that seemed sparkle and glow. He really was the spaceman, and I think he did really connect with that character and spirit on a cosmic level, to the point, I believe, where now I'm not sure how often he was quoted in saying this, but felt that he was from another planet. I'm not sure if that's maybe one too many psychedelic trips or what, that he came to this realization. But what a life, eh? 74. It's too bad that he lived a life that he wanted to, obviously. Partying hard and living the rock and roll lifestyle, but sort of thing catches up with you eventually. Along with the fact that I really, can't help but wonder, and there's not really too much that I've heard about specifically what led him to almost have maybe like a mini stroke in the first place. And that was his second fall, where he really, it really damaged him, and then put him into, I guess, a serious coma state. The first time he fell down in the studio wasn't quite as bad. It was, but it was an indication, foreshadowing of what was yet to come. And the second time round, I guess he fell down the stairs. So something about losing his balance, and we got to watch out for that sort of thing. Anytime we're out, this is where mindfulness comes in. The good old sort of, whether you're a self-identify as a Buddhist per se, or just someone that's a secular practitioner of meditation as a as a means of holistic wellness. So be here now, remaining mindful of each and every breath we take, each and every step, each and every utterance. Right, Brother Lawrence? The practice of presence. So, having said that, let us remind you, in case you were not aware, that Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, with every order, $25 or more, via reddragonherbs.net, you will receive an immediate 10% discount. All you simply have to do is let either Ryan or his lovely wife know one of two things: pirate radio or pirate code. That will immediately unlock the 10% discount and savings for you. Meanwhile, over on the CanaSense Cannabis Collective front, 5813 is our referral code. 5813. We'll be back here in just a flash. Mateys, do not touch that computer mouse or radio dial.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CanaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CanaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CanaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CanaSense.com. CanaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herbs' mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items, freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. Choosing from any of their caffeine-free, headache relief, or rest and relaxation blends, history has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief. Welcome back. This is, of course, the second hour to this week's live streaming edition of World Pirate Radio News, show segment number 338. I'm your host, as always, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, working on reconnecting here right now with the gang via Teams, formerly better known as Skype. I'd like to dive at least dive into and work on better addressing the rocketing rate of organized crime being allowed pretty much to run amok unchecked via Canada. Unprecedented, historic. I think we can, hopefully, most reasonable people see where this is headed, in conjunction with the whole host of other factors, not least of which is the economy, of course. But you've got unchecked open borders. Who knows how much money going overseas to foreign aid, while the homeless problem at home is left unaddressed. Not least of whom are the military vets and resident citizens struggling to provide for their families and make ends meet. Endless order out of chaos where we could be doing a whole lot better. There's no doubt about that. Human trafficking, illicit drug trafficking, unchecked, unaccountable. Speaking of unaccountable and unelected, back to the ostrich situation out of Edgewood, British Columbia, where you've got, I don't even know why they're known as the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, when really they're working for the globalists. You've had the Supreme Court issue essentially a cease and desist order, and yet they're still plundering on, forging ahead, bringing in what sounds like rendering machines or mulching machines is what the latest reports have it as being. So who knows how many ostriches they've murdered. This is it's just completely inexcusable. And these are willing servants of evil is what we're facing, what we're up against, and having to deal with, unfortunately, within that context. So let's not kid ourselves. Take a close look at what we see unfolding on that front, and I guess ask ourselves: is there not anything more that could be done? We're doing our part, of course. What that entails and what impact it has is anybody's guess, but it's is it best that none of these issues be discussed, or that we don't stop to reflect upon and take stock of the situation? I think not. So let's see though who we can interest in enjoying us here for the second half of this week's live streaming edition of World Pirate Radio News. Remember, WPRPN.com is the website that we will direct your attention to. Encourage folks to to check out, take a look at, and take note as well of our main email address, pirate1radio@protonmail.com. pirate1radio@protonmail.com. Not only for people who would like to help us out on the PayPal front, but also if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas that you'd like to let us hear about. So, all right, it looks like we managed to connect with a few folks here, including potentially, well, we got one new personality. Robert Morningstar out of Manhattan, USA. Welcome, Robert. How are things with you this fine evening? You and your missus? He's muted out currently, so let's see. Anyone else who can step up there? Mark is back. It sounds like he's bounced back. We thank you so much, Mark and Roger, for your syndication and affiliate support.
Sure, no problem. It's good to be back, and I'm feeling a lot better now too. So yeah.
Good.
Excellent. What did you dose yourself with? Just a little, just a shot of
caffeine.
Shot of live.
I've been
live
drinking
streaming.
lots of coffee. I didn't drink
Pirate
coffee
Love.
most of the day today until this evening. So yeah, I was probably caffeine deficient earlier.
That's hilarious. All right. So Sonia, yeah, you've returned to the fold here. That's a great fire there, man. I'm totally.
Yeah, it got a lot hotter. Oh my gosh, I'm burning a pellet right now, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It got so big.
Oh, hot and big, hey? Well, let's see
Yeah,
what
I'm big. A couple of things I'm missing, so there you go.
Roger, come on now. You be a man. Be a man, Roger.
Step up, bruh.
Robert Morningstar, you finally got you on.
I was on Zoom. I was watching this amazing biography of Jesus. It's like 5 seasons of The Chosen.
Oh yeah.
I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's really very well written.
Right. Yeah.
Very well staged.
Yeah.
Just been enjoying it with some friends. So anyway, I'm taking a break for a couple of minutes so that I'll go back to it after we're finished here.
Great.
Anyway, good to see or hear everybody.
We'll get you to tweak your audio there, Robert. Same issue as always. Just check 1, 2, and no echo, no feedback loop. There you go. Done. Piece of cake. So, all right. Yeah, okay. One of the things that I would really like to see, a couple things. If I had the ability, just in my own, I guess, mindscape or something that hasn't been overly done to this point, is the evolution of Christianity, the way it kind of unfolded and grew following the death of Christ. With you remember we were talking last night about
following the resurrection of Christ. There would have been no Christianity if Christ had died and not risen. So correction there.
Really? Why is that?
Because there would have been nothing to believe in.
Ascension.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, I'm gonna take the
time. Think about it. The reason people believe in Christ and the afterlife is because Jesus died and was resurrected, walked on the earth for 40 days, and interacted with countless people during those 40 days. I highly recommend a movie called Risen. It's actually basically a detective story, apocryphal, but it's about the centurion who crucified Jesus and stuck the spear in his side, and then he's buried, and then the body disappears. And Pontius Pilate calls him in and says, "Hey, listen, we've got a problem. The guy you crucified on Friday, he's disappeared from the tomb, and we think that somebody stole his body, and they're trying to make up a story about him being the Messiah. You got to find the body, or else we got a real problem on our hands." This is Pontius Pilate. And Joseph Fiennes plays the centurion. It's a fantastic story. And then he's wandering around trying to find out who stole the body. And make a long story short, he finally tracks down Mary Magdalene, follows her to a place, and walks into where he thinks that they've stolen the body. He walks in and he sees the man whom he crucified 3 days before. It's a flip out. But I have to say, when the ascension part comes, in the original, they've changed it. The movie in the original form, it is the greatest depiction of the ascension that I've ever seen, where Jesus is up on a cliff, and then the ascension happens, and it's like a nuclear blast happens, and he's transported right into the sky. But for some reason, in recent version that I saw, they toned it down and they don't show that part. But I recommend it. I think it's a great Easter movie, more than a Christmas movie. It's called Risen.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is called The Chosen, and this one ran for 5 years.
Mm.
And been trying to catch up with my friend and viewing, multiple chapters at a time. We were at the point just before the arrest of Jesus and the Passion, where they beat the hell out of him. Anyway, there would have been no Christianity if Jesus hadn't risen and walked around for 40 days afterwards, appeared to people. Thomas putting his fingers in his side.
Yeah, the doubter.
Let me tell you a story. This is personal. This is real. As a kid, I was always dubious of that story. Like Thomas wasn't there when Jesus showed up the first time. Didn't believe it when he came, he came back. He said, "Oh, Christ has risen. He was here." You guys are crazy. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe that unless I put my fingers in his side, in the wound. So Jesus shows up the second time and he says, "Hey, Thomas, come on over here." He's got the wound in his side where the spear went, and he said, "Right, put your fingers in." He put his fingers in, okay? Now, when I was 13, I had an accident that caused, let's call it a hernia. It was more technical than that. So I was opened up 5 inches in my lower groin, just below the appendix, from the pubic bone up to where you would think the appendix, I was opened up. And I was in the hospital. And I was supposed to go home in a week. But at the end of the week, the doctor whom I'd gotten to know during the weeks, Dr. Joseph, we got to know each other really well. And he liked me, I liked him. I was a bright kid. I was curious. Comes in on the 7th day and he says to me, "I'm sorry, you're not going to be going home today." I said, "Oh, really?" He says, "Yeah, I'm looking at that wound and it looks very angry. It's kind of infected and I'm going to have to open up and clean it out." I said, "Really?" He said, "When?" He said, "I'm going to come by tomorrow and we'll open it up and then I'll clean it out. I think there's a lot of bad blood in there." I said, "Okay." So I expected the next day that he would come, they'd wheel me into the operating room, anesthetize me, knock me out. He comes in, he says, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah, I'm ready." "Okay." And I said, "Aren't you going to take me to the operating room?" He said, "No." I said, "We're going to do it right here?" He said, "Yeah." "And are you going to knock me out?" He said, "Do you want me to?" I said, "Do we have to?" And he said, "No. Do you think you can handle it?" I said, "Yeah." And he looked at me. I'm only 12 years old, 12 or 13, almost 13. So he goes, "Okay." So he takes the scissors and he clips off all the stitches and then he opens up my wound and I'm looking down into my body. Now, this is something that really was a life-altering event because when he opened my side and the flesh parted, I looked into raw meat and my 13-year-old brain said, "Oh my God, I'm just a robot made of meat." And the reason I said that was when the flesh parted, I could feel myself in the space between the two sides of flesh. And then I see the doctor with his gloved hand reach in and he starts yanking out coagulated blood. And I said to myself, "Damn, that looks like Welch's grape jelly." And it was just black blood. And he washed it out. And I said to myself, "Man, I didn't believe that story about Thomas, but I certainly believe it now." Then he sewed me up and closed it up. And about 5 days later, I could come home. So that was a really wild experience. Now, the important thing about this is that, like I said, I wasn't the flesh. When he opened up, what is me was in between the two folds of flesh. I am a magnetic field. And many years later, I found a book called The L Fields by Dr. Harold Saxton Burr. And what he had done in 1943 is map out the magnetic field of the human body. By checking the polarity and the voltages, he could tell what parts of the body were what. But he also started with eggs, and he measured the polarity of an egg, the positive, the negative, and he could tell in a zygote what part was going to become the head, what part was going to become the tail, and then later on he could tell what parts were going to become intestinal tissue, what part was going to become bone, what part was going to become flesh and muscle. And that changed my life. That was in 1968, because I was very curious about life, the life force. And then when I learned about Qi and Tai Chi, and I said, this is what it is. Dr. Harold Saxton Burr discovered the nature of Qi, and that we are basically magnetic bottles. What he said was the magnetic field exists before the molecules and the matter and the water fill up the magnetic bottle. And I got to feel that when that doctor did that and opened me up and put his fingers in, I got to feel that I was that magnetic field. And it dovetails with those stories about people who are amputees. They cut off the leg, but they can still feel the leg. That's because that magnetic field that is still there. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And in keeping with these stories, yeah, life is a mystery.
Indeed, many.
It's a mystery to be lived and not a problem to be solved. You know? So, but if you don't explore, if you lock yourself into the materialistic universe, which is, I think, scientists have done, scientists have caged themselves in this ideology of matter. And by doing that, they exclude 99.9% of the local universe. You know, so much of reality is invisible to us. We only see in a very small spectrum of light. Here within a small spectrum or range of sounds. But I believe that life as we have it here on Earth is to learn to navigate. And I think I said this to you last night. We'll learn to navigate into the afterlife and back into the life and the afterlife. And when you're able to learn remote viewing, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, that's how you learn the navigation. And that's when you learn that your soul can transmigrate into other dimensions and then come back in. And then one day, the final day, we will transmigrate, we'll be out there. But if you haven't gone to school, you're not going to know how to navigate. And you'll be confused, and you'll go into the bardo, you know, the Tibetan 49 days of the bardo, where the soul is running around, confused, like, where the hell am I? Oh, if I see that light, oh, I'm afraid of that light, run away. And then you descend into the next incarnation. So we're in a navigation school, and if you don't practice, you're not going to know how to navigate when you get out there. So
that's one way of putting it. Thank you. So, anyone got anything to? I mean, you could respond in saying many things, but the one thing, the image that came to mind from my end was just Jesus and Buddha sitting in a lotus position, and as I am kind of now, sort of half lotus.
I was going to say that it feels like that to me, because I was thinking about you earlier today, and I think that each of us has a model. Your model is the Buddha. My model is the Christ and Jesus, and we evolve. We take on those attributes. There's a fantastic book that nobody reads anymore, but it was called The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Aquinas. And his recommendation was, you have to emulate. You have to live your belief, and try to become your ideal.
Yeah, that's what
I have a lot of those. You know, I thought last night I was telling the audience that I was really pissed off that Fauci funded the gain of function research in coronavirus in Wuhan, by paying them millions to go to Western China and collect thousands of bats and then come back and extract the virus. Coronavirus was extracted from Chinese bats. And the way they took the samples was to take bat blood, bat sweat, and fecal samples of the bats, and then create the gain of function. So this is basically the crap that they've infected us with. People who have CV19 have actually been contaminated with bat DNA. That was not my idea of becoming Batman. I tried to live my myth, you know, for 40, 50 years. I thought of myself as crime fighter, you know, investigator, protector of Gotham City, another nickname for New York City. And I'm really outraged that they chose to contaminate us with bat DNA. Not my idea of the way to become Batman.
Just imagine what more they've got waiting for us. It just, you think that what we saw transpire over the last number of years was bad? Just wait. You know,
Yeah.
Agenda 2030, the digital ID, social credit, you know, and most people really just are human cattle. They don't stop to question. They don't stop to think. They just go along. We were talking earlier there in the first, the opening hour about blind conformity. Chris out of Atlanta, Do Better, brought that up, and it made a great point that that's the thing with Buddha. As he said, don't believe me. He said the analogy he drew was gold, and the way, you know, you say gold, you don't just, oh, thanks for the gold. I think I'll, you know, here's the cash. Give me the thanks for the gold, and there that leave it at that. No, you have to test it for its purity. And that's what the Buddha talked about. He said, test these ideas. Don't take it, believe me or anyone else, what they say, you know. So, but, yeah, Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. On top of that, you know, I think the two, look, Christ and Jesus, they meet on a road. They're walking. What's going to happen when they meet? You know, is it, you know, I think it's pretty straight. I think they're just going to kind of chill for a little bit, have maybe a conversation, maybe sit, do some meditation, and then, you know, get up and carry on off to spread the good news, as it were, you know. So
I'm glad you put it that way. Christ and Jesus meet on the road, because people have to understand that Christ is the spirit, Jesus was the vehicle, and that he taught that what he calls the Holy Spirit is the Christification of an individual, of a human being. When you enlighten yourself, open your chi, gets to the crown of your head, the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you are Christified. And so there is distinction. Jesus Christ was not his last name. It was a state of being that came upon him that made him realize who he was in spirit. And my favorite gospel is St. John. It's the most mystical of the gospels. But the opening chapter of John says something really profound. He said that to those who believe in his name, who are born not of the will of the flesh or of the will of man, but of the will of God, to them he gave the power of becoming sons of God. So Jesus was the first son of God, but he was invoking us to also become sons and daughters of God. And he vested that power, that ability in us. Another book I'd love to recommend to you, again, another important book, one of the most important in my life. C.S. Lewis wrote a little book, I think maybe 200 pages. It was called Miracles.
Oh, yeah.
And in Miracles, he says that when Christ came to earth and did the miracles, he changed all of the laws of nature. He changed the laws of physics. And because he had broken the old laws of physics and the old universe, he introduced new laws of physics, a new universe. And since he created miracles, he invested all of us with the ability to create miracles, and that's what he said. Though, if you believe in my name, greater things than these will you do in my name. And that's the opening of this remarkable universe, a multiverse, omniverse that we are just starting to explore now as our consciousness has risen to be able to understand interdimensional portals, wormholes, dimensional reality. So
speaking of which, we got 3i. We'd like to bounce that off of you while we're here, and I'm, also we the cover splash photo that we have running in conjunction with this week's show, really asking the question: is this Canada, with the rising rate of organized crime, infiltration, just and how that's impacting society as a whole? It's gone off the charts. It was, in fact, the last Castro basically term where it really just it's just outrageous. It's outrageous. And here's the thing: Canada is it's America's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Some would argue, say, right to private property, good for them. That's wonderful. I'm down with that. But also in Canada, it's peace, order, and good government. I ask, are we really getting, how much of good government are we really getting these days? Really? And if we don't have the foundations to what we were promised, isn't there a bit of a problem with the social contract as it stands?
Listen, today I sent you some big news as far as I'm concerned. They've uncovered the plan of the Canadian government to dispatch 14,700,000 people over the period of 20 years, from 2027 to 2047.
That's right.
Their plan, assistance in dying program, to save themselves 1.7 trillion.
I thought you meant open borders, bringing in that amount, which is accurate, actually. Trudeau, I don't know if he let the cat out of the bag or not, is an outrageous figure. He said, 1 million a year, bring them on in. You're talking about murder and instant death. That's our acronym.
Yeah, murder and instant death.
Kind of
I sent you that.
Okay.
Several articles about it. They're starting to, they're going to euthanize children who are depressed. They're going to euthanize people who are suicidal.
Homeless, yes.
Homeless,
addicts.
People who find jobs. This is really a throwback to Hitlerian Third Reich.
I think it's worse. It's worse.
Yeah.
Basically, they're killing off all the people that have woke up to the illusion, and they have become disillusioned and dissatisfied.
Great term, disillusioned. I love it. Yeah.
Right, and they can't live in that world anymore because they see the corruption and the bullshit and the lies.
Government is not fulfilling its promise. If they're not living up to what they're supposed to.
So the Canadian government, instead of having a revolt, they're killing off the people that are waking up,
useless eaters,
bringing in people that aren't very hip to the illusion that we've been
from India
indoctrinated.
You're talking about like out of India, Africa, wherever the case may be, from
all the doctors and engineers.
Oh, bullshit. Yeah, the very small percentage of them. It's to endless order out of chaos. And here's the thing, just to finish, Castro, aka Trudeau, he kind of let the cat out of the bag. And another time that I heard him make this off the cuff remark about why do I even have to breathe the same air as these people? Essentially what he said. Why do I have to even breathe the same air as these people?
One of the things, another article, it's a long series of articles by this lady on Substack. She calls herself the Lioness of Judah, and she is an amazing investigator. And one of the things that she brought out as a question is, where are they killing unvaxxed people in Canadian hospitals?
Oh
when they went to,
God, great! That's an excellent, excellent, yeah,
and
focus.
they,
Yeah,
they seem to have had a grudge. And Trudeau, Castro, Queen Justine, my favorite name for
right.
it. Um, he was adamantly condemning people who were not vaccinated and saying that, they were basically criminals. But it was so irrational. If the vaccine is supposed to protect you from coronavirus, anybody who's unvaccinated was no threat, So this reverse psychology that they're employing
It's
all the time.
gaslighting. Yeah.
Yeah, gaslighting is what you call it.
And the cognitive
So,
dissonance too with so many people, to the point where it's like they just could not see the other side of the coin, or the science as well. The science, like, you don't do science by just addressing not maybe half of the picture. That's the new science, I guess. Trust the new fake science, like, just we'll ignore the other half of what's going on here, that part of the world. But there's just so many contradictions. So many contradictions, and that's one of the things that Karl Marx, not a fan of the guy, by any stretch of the imagination, but even sometimes the devil does speak the truth in talking about contradictions that would arise and occur. The thing about it, I don't think that he really bargained to really considered, is that most people are including myself, because I don't pick up on it all, as along the lines of what you laid out earlier, Robert, with the visual, the spectrum, all the senses, hearing, taste, smell. I mean, I've got a cat here on my lap, and apparently they smell a lot better than, well, must have been rolling around the cat litter a little too long. But I'm talking about their sense of smell, that they can
sense.
detect, and their other eyes in the dark, and their hearing, it's so much more acute. So the point, that we've got to squeegee clean the third eye, as Bill Hicks said, I guess, dosing ourselves heroic doses of psilocybin. So, but yeah, it's really sad, but I don't know what, it's war on humanity, and that's one of the things we've been talking about, the war on humanity of, and World War. Remember, I brought this up with you earlier, Robert, how in the underground we do make little ripples here, the Fifth Estate live streaming digital underground. You never know who's out there listening, both for better and for worse. There are some insiders who will listen, and they'll like be thinking, "How dare you? Like, we're going to do what we can to shut these people down, punish them." And then at the same time, there'll be another situation, context, where for too long they've served as these willing servants of evil, I think is how Bush put it. And it's true. Look at what's happening in Edgewood, the ostrich farm. They are willing servants of evil. Did you hear about what's going on? They're mulching those birds right now. It's a nighttime, under the darkness of night. They're mulching. They're putting them right into the mulchers. This and because in the middle of the night is what's happening, murdering them.
You know what I wrote to you this afternoon?
That's against the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court issued, so they're I don't know if they're contravening, or just they are. These are globalists. They're serving global interests. It's a total surrender of Canadian sovereignty.
I wrote to you today.
Outrageous.
I see the plan, and I said, Chili con carne. Carney's plan is to use the culling of the ostriches to condition Canadians psychologically to accept mass death before he begins the culling of the people.
Scumbag.
It's all a huge psychological operation.
He's heavily invested in the pharmaceuticals, apparently, too, That's like Castro, it came out, him and his family, because it's always the family members that end up with the money and the kickbacks and the whole lot. So, but Carney, I guess, heavily invested as well, and so it's a conflict of interest.
Trump refused to meet with him. They're at the ASEAN conference, and Trump refused to meet with Carney.
I've got mixed feelings on Trump, definitely. I'm not total.
Everybody has, because he's, as I said, he's walking a tightrope, and he's playing both sides against the middle, and keeping everybody off balance with all of these, a cognitive dissonance. He's using
Charlie Kirk recently came out, like, it totaled like a lot of weirdness, more just strange things. As I was telling you, Google Analytics and the lead up both of in Washington, the FBI headquarters, Israel, this sudden out of nowhere, Tyler Robinson, who's he? Well, for some strange reason, the day before this plot, essentially, the assassination, that Tyler Robinson was a person of interest, and nothing had even happened yet. And not only that, but there was the location in Utah became, it's like, oh, we're getting some serious analytics now, and it all led back to Israel.
Day before the event,
right.
his name was being searched by the FBI or something.
Yeah,
CIA,
and Israel in a big way too, and Washington D.C. Jimmy Dore covers it extensively, so just check out what he's managed to.
Back to the culling of the birds you were talking about. I don't really know exactly about it. I've only been hearing about it here, but it something I just was like aware of the last couple of days. I need to fact check, but
the eggs contain
supposedly back in the Great Depression era, they were also like killing pigs and all kind of different animals that could have been feeding people, and making farmers perish crops and stuff to stabilize the product so that it didn't devalue the product.
The price kept the price high.
How about Roosevelt's gold seizures? And didn't Nixon do something similar with or there was a gold standard?
Nixon saved the nation because we were bankrupted by Vietnam, and we had trillions of greenbacks outside of the country. Americans were traveling all over the world, investing all over the world, paying cash for a lot of things, and the greenbacks were being shipped back to the United States weekly on ships and aircraft, and we were having to pay off the gold, and we didn't have any more gold. And that's the genius of Richard Nixon. He, in order to keep all of that cash from flooding back into the United States and having to repay it back in gold, he negotiated the petrodollar. It took me a decade to understand what the petrodollar was about. So he negotiated a deal with the Arabian oil producers, OPEC, that
they would only buy in oil. US dollars.
They could only be paid in American dollars. So all these countries had to hoard cash, American cash, and pay for the oil to Saudi Arabia in American cash. And that's how he saved the U.S. economy.
Remember then, and then under the Carter administration, there was a major fuel shortage, right?
Yeah, there was. Well, was it a fuel shortage?
They lined up. People were lining up en masse to get their vehicles gassed up.
I remember we had the license plate numbers. If you had an odd number, you could fuel up on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That was another austerity measure put in place to stabilize the price.
Artificial, yeah.
It's all these situations
all a rigged game.
More. No, it's more force and fear and control over you. They take away your food supply. Who do you have to go to? You stand in food lines and bread lines.
Oh, by the way, speaking,
then you get a ID from the government because you have to be one of the government citizens now.
Well, do you know? Have you heard about food stamps? Do you know about food stamps?
They're trying to implement the digital ID now, so that's just another ploy of control that they're trying.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Put on us.
That's right. It's all connected too, isn't it?
At the beginning of next month, the penny will no longer be used.
Yeah, it's too. It costs more to produce pennies than they're actually worth. Let me just say, in conjunction with what Chris is laying out there, and then back to whoever like to carry on, that something like it's real life Hunger Games with the government shutdown now in the States. 40 plus million Americans potentially going hungry because of the lack of food stamps. Is that right? They're not issuing the food stamps, so some people are eating quite well.
No, I
want to chime in here real quick, just real quick. And it has to do with the food stamp thing. And I happen to know that recently, actually, it's been maybe 6 months or so, that they will not sell you tea that has any herbs in it, like herbal tea, like ginger. Yeah, ginger and things like that. They've cut that off in all the supermarkets.
Oh, for food stamps. If you got a food stamp and you're trying to get ginger tea, they'll say nah.
They will not give you tea because they consider it a medicine.
Oh my God! And look at RFK Jr. Well, I think he's trying to do some good work on that front. But with the food additives and preservatives and chemicals and crap. Let me get to the comments though. Just we got looks like 20 odd minutes here left. So everyone just mute out if you would. I'm going to get to the comments. There's a lot. Or Sonia, would you like to address? Why don't you you do a great job in covering that. Let's if you can handle it. Let's let you take a stab at things. And Zane Ivey's been really active and busy over on Facebook as well, in unpacking a lot of great thoughts. Oh my God! Hi, Squeaky, I love you. Oh, poor Squeaky. What is she? What is he? Is it Squeaky's a boy? Is it?
Yeah, he's a boy.
What's he suffering from?
It is gingivitis.
Robert might know how to actually. Can you brush his teeth gently with anything to...
No, he will not let me touch his teeth at all. There's no way.
Robert,
he barely will even eat, and when he eats, he doesn't like it.
He's only 4. Okay, he won't even eat soft food.
No.
Is there any?
He can't eat with teeth.
Yeah, gingivitis, some kind of weird.
Oh, listen.
You got to use.
There's a thing called there's a company called Terragenics. It's a Canadian company, and it makes this diluted iodine spray, and it is very efficacious. Iodine takes care of everything. As a matter of fact, I used it on myself because sometimes I have a problem with a tooth. I take the iodine, I put it on, and I use DMSO to make the iodine go in through the skin. It's a transcutaneous way of getting iodine. I had an infection, the tooth infection, that bothered me, and it was starting in I'm going to turn my camera on to show you. It was over here and over here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is bothering me.
Ouch.
And the infection started to travel. And when it got to about here, it really bothered me. It was moving up toward my eye. So I took iodine and I put it on my skin, a lot of it. Then I took DMSO and I put it on, and the DMSO carried the iodine in, killed the infections.
Isn't Sonia using silver iodine? Isn't that what you talked about earlier, Sonia? Is that right? You're trying.
Actually, it's the silver that's bioavailable. The nano silver.
Okay.
Monatomic silver.
Colloidal silver.
Colloidal silver.
Yeah, colloidal silver. That's correct.
Is that good?
But this Terragenics is a Canadian company. I knew the owner, and we promoted it. I got some of it, and it comes in a little spray bottle. And I think that would help your cat. You just spray it on his cheek, or if you can lift his lip and spray it in. I sympathize with animals.
Oh God,
so difficult.
Yeah.
To help an animal, who's in suffering.
Bears will attack. Sometimes apparently attack people. Like if they have a bad tooth, like a grizzly or whatever. It's not because it's nothing even personal. It's just they're so frustrated and pissed off. They
Mhm.
just have completely lost it. So we should
Right.
look into picking them up as a sponsor. Terragenics. That sounds like really interesting company.
Jerry.
So yeah.
TERRAGENX.
Uh-huh.
You'll find it.
All right.
It's .ca.
Okay, we got less than 20 minutes here, folks. Sonia, get to the comments if you would, and I'll do what I can to cover the rest, I guess. But is there anything that really jumps out at you? We got Gully Rat and Zane.
There again, Jeffy, you have a better view, I think, right now than I do because
Oh,
my phone once again. Yes, so
okay. Well, I'll get on top of that.
interacting with the comments. Yes.
Hey, Robert, while we're at it, well, Walking on Thin Ice, the song I shared with you yesterday, did you realize it's maybe not? I have, because I've done the math. It's the 45th year anniversary of Lennon's murder coming up this December. It would be really great if we could somehow, whether it to like JJ or to Alan, someone who's got the technical know-how or the industry insider connections to make, to really just do something more with the song, and because it's a big tune. I know it is.
It's a nice song. You have a good voice, and as I said, you should use
just a songwriter.
Orchestrate.
Yeah. Well.
But you know what? Somewhere in my apartment, I have a cassette tape where I taped WABC radio giving the reports of John Lennon's shooting and ultimately his death. I'll never forget it. I was writing a paper on physics on Einstein, and my favorite statement is Einstein lied. Einstein lied about everything. Can't go faster than the speed of light. So I was writing to an English architect, the Architect Royal, in fact, for King Charles. I had met him. He taught me sacred geometry. And there I was sitting here typing away, talking about Einstein's equations, etc. And my friend Kenny Morano, a rock and roller, came to the door and knocked on the door, and I opened it. He had a really sad face, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" He says, "I don't know if this is true, but I just heard that John Lennon was shot." I said, "What?" "Yeah, somebody shot John Lennon. He's at Roosevelt Hospital right now." And then I just stayed with it. I threw in the cassette tape and taped it all. Till
I was lying in bed. I was just a kid of, I guess I was around 10 years old, lying in bed listening to CBC News. What they would often do is they would play like nightly sort of like dramas, like that were kind of fun. They were fun to listen to and to go to sleep with. I'll ask. Remember the audio on your end too, there, Robert. It's just kind of.
No, it's as low as I can take it. I mean,
or just mute out, maybe. I guess.
Anyway, I was going to say that John Lennon was not shot by Hinckley. He was killed by a professional assassin. His doorman was working for the CIA.
Right. Yeah, that's really suspicious, isn't it? I mean, I actually, like a lot of people, getting the assassins confused. Mark David Chapman, not Hinckley, was Reagan's the would-be killer.
Well, you know why I say that? It's like when I saw Hinckley just a couple of months after John Lennon was shot by Chapman, I looked at the two of them. I said, "What are these guys, Bobbsey twins?" They look so much alike.
Yeah. Well,
you see the parallel in their career.
Catcher in the Rye. Hello.
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye. Well, and Jose Perdomo, that's the guy, Operation 40. But then the official retort to that is, "Oh, well, it's not that Jose Perdomo. It's of Operation 40. It's another Jose Perdomo. Kind of like, it's not that George Bush of the sea. It's not that George Poppy Bush. It's another George."
The same thing. It's not that Tippett, right? In the Warren Commission, they found out that Tippett was a friend of Jack Ruby's, and so they asked the police chief, and they said, "We know about. We've learned that Ruby and Tippett were friends." And he said, "Oh no, that was not the J.D. Tippett. It was another GM Tippett."
Really?
So it's the same decoy.
Technique. Yeah. Okay, let me just get to the comments here. So Gully Rat lost a beloved pet, which we have. Our hearts go out to anyone who has, of course, but we've lost two cats here to this point, and it's a real death is such a great teacher, of course, clearly. And with each breath we take, we really should be just, I suppose, trying to be as fully involved and absorbed in the now as is possible.
In
So,
the moment.
yeah, yeah, and just it's amazing the way everything just disintegrates and falls apart. This world of illusion. So, a
Cats,
lot of great comments from
cats are
Gully
not
Rat.
pets, they're persons.
Come
Cats
again?
are not pets, they're persons.
Okay. Oh, sure. Whatever you say, Robert. And you know what they say? It's interesting too that pets. I'm not sure if it's pets or cats or just animals. They don't. You don't choose them; they choose you. And one real classic example, really, is the last one we got here, Mandu, who was downstairs at the. I was just walking in, coming back from work one night. It was kind of around the same time of year. You remember, it was pretty decent, chill in the air. And there he was, just came walking right up to me at the bottom of the steps. And, it's like you don't see that sort of thing every day. And I managed to, I was lucky that I had a little bit of food with me and offered it to him. And, the rest is history. Picked him up and had eventually, you get introduced to two other male cats, and all hell breaks loose for a little while. The whole pecking order thing, which has now been resolved largely. They've learned to live together and get along. It's pretty, copacetic, as it were. But you got to get those nuts cut off. You got to go for the castration thing when the time is right. And I often wonder what how much better
No
would it
way,
would
no way.
how much better would this civilization be if in fact what if there was like I hate to use the word mandatory, but like with a prisoner population, you commit a violent crime, you're getting your nuts cut off, and this is whether it's rape, murder, you name it. If you've shown to be crossing the lines, like, you're gonna lose your nuts, and I think that would, well, I don't know. There's just something to that. Basically, it would send a strong message. So, anyways, but Zane Ivy, let me just because we got again. Thank you, Gully Rat, for all your comments. So people can drop by. D Live is where we're seeing him connect with us and come to us here in real life time. Amos Dales 777. We tried calling you, Amos Dale, but there was no answer. So guess you've got your work schedule that you're having to deal with. If you don't get tied up in the trappings at mature levels, it seems to me most the spiritual paths refined down to the same classical metaphysics. I think what you might be going on about there, Zane, is this something that Robert has spent some time reflecting upon over the years, the so-called perennial philosophy. Seems to me Canada pretty much a mess. Laurie Maddox, David Bowie's 14-year-old lover, is to believe Bowie did a lot more than commit an indiscretion. He didn't just get drunk or high at a party, unknowingly, bang a young girl, insert another placement verbiage, without asking her ID. Fully sober, he sent his bodyguard to procure a child for sex, and it wasn't only Bowie. Yeah, well, I don't even want to go there with that one. But yeah, Bowie he there may have been a lot that he hid from the world. This dark sort of art versus the artist. I was just watching a video last night dealing with, it's a very, I think, not a very well known project of his called The Outsider, and there was a part 2 that he in his will asked that it be destroyed, all tapes and evidence of it ever having existed. So it goes into, because he was all about Ziggy Stardust, and okay, we're
Yeah,
done with
I
that.
can't believe he degenerated to such an extent. At the end, the Black Star that he did, the Black Star.
Yes.
When I saw him, he was a freaking prune, And we're less than a year apart, and it's interesting. He's David Robert, and I'm Robert David, and I really related to Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
And the Starman. The
Yes.
Starman
Yes.
is archetypal. I was contacted by the Starman, so I always related to that song. By the way, just a final note, in the chat, I found the Terragenics website and I put it in there.
Okay. You're talking Star.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Terragenics, to help out Squeaky with his gum issue. So Starman Ace Frehley, we know that you're pretty.
No, Starman. There's a Starman in the sky. He'd like to get to know us, but he think he's blow our mind.
Okay.
Starman.
And who?
Ziggy Starman.
Well, who? But oh, so you did not literally meet the?
No, I literally did meet the Starman.
Oh no! Oh, you're talking copious amounts of psychedelics, or what exactly?
Well, the sacred mushroom brings you home.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah, there's no absolutely.
You don't gotta have that to meet the Starman.
Ace.
Okay.
No,
It doesn't have to.
Everybody
have to
has
do with it.
different paths.
Sonia,
to the same...
hang on.
That's right.
So
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, Sonia. Well, and Ace Frehley's his kind of persona through Kiss was Starman, or Spaceman. But Sonia, one more time, I couldn't quite make that out. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just saying that you don't necessarily have to have psychedelics in order to meet the Starman. So.
Well, no, that's true, and in fact, yeah, exactly. And Robert and I were just talking about this recently with respect to weed, and I had an opportunity to imbibe and indulge some, to a reasonable degree. Well, in Canada a couple months ago, but living as I have here, I don't smoke cigarettes or hardly drink anything, and just I eat a little too much and doing what I can to watch
I think the vibe, Jeffy. I think the vibe is kind of always around. It's just that we are kind of tuned out of that sort of thing.
Yeah, tuning is the operative word, exactly. I'm not sure if this has anything to do with it, but you isn't it time maybe you hired a maid or had someone go through your house? And I'm not sure what sort of
what are you trying to say? You trying to say something?
Wipe down, time to clean up,
How about that? Is that better?
I don't know.
Does that work better?
No.
All right, then.
Sweep the.
So what do we know better? Okay.
Sweep the floor, like wipe down the tables. Like what's going on there?
Dude,
like who left the mess?
Fine. The lights are off. I mean, come on.
Well, I've got my cat eyes are on. So hey,
change the subject. Just say.
So, but okay, and here's another thing too, and this is just it's just so mind blowing as we wind things down here. We need to hear from each of you. Your although we will add them, of course, as always. Social media, contact information. I think did you remember the analogy that I brought up last week? It's really bizarre, but it's within the context of the perennial philosophy and this 900-year epoch of Greco-Buddhism, where, from time of at least Ashoka the Great all the way up to Manichaeism, which I mispronounce or don't pronounce in the way that Robert prefers it. But anyways, Manichae. So it's like a key. Okay, the key. So which was this religious key, like key to opening and unlocking the mysteries. But which was a syncretic sort of endeavor on his part that led to him, losing his head essentially. So they couldn't handle Christ. They couldn't handle this guy either. Apparently, it was like, too much of a good thing, I suppose. Well, two quick things though. You did you brought up we were talking about Christ and Buddha earlier, and to emulate and to embody and to essentially you become your role model, spiritual role model. That's a problem in Islam, if you ask me. As far as I'm.
I was thinking about the same thing today.
Huge problem, and we'll let people figure.
Religion is a glue. Religion is a glue for society.
Marrying little girls.
Think about this. Disgusting. Religion is a glue of society, of culture. Which religion is going to bring peace to the earth? The one that teaches an eye for an eye, or the one that teaches kiss your opponent's hand until you have the chance to cut it off, or stab the infidel in the neck, or the one that says, love your neighbor as yourself, love your enemy as you love yourself.
Yeah.
The golden rule, love God with your whole mind, your whole heart, your whole soul, and love your neighbor as yourself, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Which religion is going to bring peace to the earth? The
Right.
one is eye for an eye, tooth for the tooth, who's going to leave everybody blind and toothless. And as far as stabbing your enemy in the neck, forget about that.
Yeah, Takia, the they call it noble. It's really ignoble lie, as per Plato's ignoble
So
lie.
which religion teaches the peace and all that? Turn the cheek.
Christianity, I believe. It says New Testament is the New Testament.
But you know what I think when he said, if he strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the left also. In Tai Chi, if somebody were to strike your right cheek and you spin, you turn the left cheek to them. It doesn't mean you just take the full blow.
Or the second one either. It's like you got one free shot. And let me just finish though by saying this, because we're almost out of time. It's some great conversation here, but we've only got a few more minutes, and we're not sure what we're going to do with the Halloween show. Whether we're going to interview this guest that Sonia queued up for us, if it's maybe an open house or just nothing at all. So, and I've got no problem, as you know, like going into Samhain, and then what I love the most is All Saints Day, that's where it would be great to have Robert on once again, because he's the Catholic. Well, kind of. He has a Catholic influence in with his background and so forth. But here's the thing with Christ, or not Christ and Buddha, but Socrates and Buddha, attunement. You brought up tuning earlier. Two musicians on different times, different periods, different locations. One approached Socrates. That was the first time, because Buddha predated Socrates. So he was approached by a musician, and the musician asked, enlightenment, what is this? How do you do this? And he's like, well, you're a musician. You should know these things. Too flat, what happens to your string? How does it sound? It's like all out of tune. If it's too sharp, come on. It's like your string, it's too tense, you're wound too tightly, and it snaps and breaks ultimately. So seek the middle way, where you can, right? Try to abide and dwell in that middle ground, and be at rest and at peace, and enjoy the harmony and the attunement, whether it's a 432 or 440. But Socrates then later approached by a musician, interestingly, same question, only it was eudaimonia. He just, kingdom of God, eudaimonia, enlightenment. To me, me personally, it's all the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's just beyond our intellect. It just is what it is, right? The word. So it's the same question, same response, with the flatness and sharpness. And it's like, you should know your musician. Really weird, really and really telling, really striking. So to me, it just stuck with me. It's like, aha, just seeing a pattern within the wider context, this 900-year Greco-Buddhist era and epoch, which hardly anyone knows about. Nobody talks about it. What's up with that? And speaking of which, God, I hope they don't cut us off, but don't worry, folks. I will add your contact information here. Scout's honor. That Bamiyan Buddhist, I had no idea Buddhism had even made its way that far to the east, as it were, in history, world history, until the Taliban started going all crazy. So thank you to everyone for being a part of show segment number 338. Yet there's good old George Carlin, St. George. Speaking of, people of a little bit of Catholic influence, so forth.
I wanted to say one last thing about the cat to Sonia. To get the cat under control, to treat it, you don't want to get clawed, right? So what you do is you take a blanket, throw it over the cat, wrap the cat around in the blanket so his paws are all locked in, and you press him down, then lift the lip, and if you get.
Oh, there we go, folks. They'll have to actually, you know what? They're able to stay in the room together themselves, and hopefully without getting shut down. But we've lost contact and connection with them. It's telling us it's time to draw this show to a close. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com is our email address. If you'd like to contact us with any show suggestions, guest ideas, also PayPal donations, always, think of it as a virtual coffee or a tip. You really stand to benefit from a little more in that area, folks. Liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription, notification buttons, passing word on to friends, family, coworkers. All of that is really, it's essential and very much appreciated. People that have joined us here in the live end of things, or that appreciate, value the content that we put out here on a pretty weekly basis, where we can manage, whether it's the news end of things or the feature shows. 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 out on the East Coast. A lot more to get to, a lot more to cover. Once again, are we going to find ourselves here back with our an annual Halloween, what the pagans, I guess, those darn country dwellers, the pagans, like to refer to as Samhain. It's Sam Hain, but it's actually Samhain. It's a feature show in that regard, or maybe an interview actually with someone who is more of an expert in the area of Halloween and all that it entails. It's a satanic high holiday, I suppose, for some, and for others, such as ourselves, it's just, it's a part of life. The passing from out of this world into the next, to hopefully being received on the other side, acknowledges having done a pretty, decent job while we were here. So, having said that, until we meet again via these high digital, all too often intrepid seas, I'm your host, as always, the show's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you to keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Tally ho!